Hawaii. When I think of Hawaii, I think of hula dancers, beaches, volcanoes, Lilo and Stitch, and overpriced drinks. Over 9 million people go to Hawaii every single year to bask on the tropical island. But of course, Hawaii has a horrible and dark past. Hawaii was the 50th state added to the United States of America, and it's one of only 2 states that isn't directly connected to another state. The story of Hawaii is one that's filled with greed and betrayal and guns and death. So slap on your hula skirt, and let's figure it out. So you gotta think, why does America want Hawaii? Well, simply put, Hawaii is right smack dab in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, okay? Something called imperialism has caused all of these industrialized countries to start kind of claiming territory around the world, right? So you've got, Spain is claiming Cuba and Puerto Rico, and France is kind of claiming the Polynesians, and you have people kind of claiming different spots all over the world. And the United States kind of saw a benefit in claiming what would be the biggest island right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. See, this is a great stopping point for military vessels. It's a long boat ride between California and Asia, and Hawaii provides a perfect stopping point. Also, a little bit of protection from people trying to get to us. But other than that, Hawaii is not super important to America. It's important to know that Hawaii was like its own country. It had like a king and a queen, it had embassies, it had like trade, it had everything. And in the 1820s-ish, the United States started kind of swinging by Hawaii a couple times, and they were trading. They would send in Christian missionaries. Eventually, these missionaries kind of started settling in Hawaii, and then they started growing sugarcane. Sugarcane is the plant that we get sugar from, okay? And sugar makes all food taste good. Gatorade, it's just sugar. Candy, it's all sugar. Pancakes, a fried cake made of sugar and bread, boom, put some sugar on, okay? Sugar makes everything better. So these missionaries come in, they start kind of casually growing sugar cane, but eventually they're like, oof, we are making a lot of money doing this, okay? Like, we're low-key, we're rolling in money right now. And these planters, they start getting like super rich. And so the sugarcane industry starts blowing up, and then they bring in workers from Asia to kind of help out with all this farming that they got to do. Around this same time, a new king comes to power. Remember, Hawaii says kings and queens, and you have kings Kalakaua. Kalakaua. I'm gonna have to look up how to say his name. Kalakaua. Oh, his real name is David La Meakanapakau Mihilani Naulekahulani Lumine Kalakaua. Oh man, that's a name. He's from Hawaii. Welcome to Hawaii.
If you feel like it's time to finally end your war with food,
What is this?
Isn't there like a coffee drink that gets you stoned?
Rest, because this is...
Help us tell a story about Hawaii that, according to a lot of people...
How do you say his stupid name?
Depending upon who you talk to. This man is Hawaii's last king.
Say his name.
Kalakaua.
Kalakaua. Okay? Sorry. At the same time, a new king comes to power, King Kalakaua, in 1874. So by the time this guy, Kalakaua, is the king, the Americans basically controlled the land and the economy, and they were like not really interested in letting any of that go because they were flushed with cash. So Kalakaua, okay, was really nationalistic. You need to know what nationalism. To be nationalistic, or to have nationalism, means that you've got a lot of pride in your country. And he didn't really want his country to become Americanized, right? He didn't want like a Starbucks on every corner. He's basically like, these Americans are gross and they're sweaty, okay? And in order to make Hawaii even richer, Kalakaua makes a deal that says like, all Hawaiian sugar that enters the US, boom, tax-free. And this made the sugar industry go crazy. And King Kalakaua thought that he'd done a pretty good job. But now these sugarcane planters, they're like, damn, it's time to make even more money. Let's get some more power. This Kalakaua guy, who cares about him, Like, let's get even more power than we already have. So these planters, they kind of get together and they're like, are you making a ton of money? And they're like, I'm making a ton of money, right? And they're talking, and they're like, hey, this queen and king stuff, like, it's cute, but like, we're trying to make some serious guap now. Like, we're starting to really roll in it. I say, like, we overthrow the king, and we go cash these checks. So these planners formed a group called the Hawaiian League, called the Hawaiian League, which was a secret organization of these like rich American planters that were living in Hawaii that wanted to overthrow the Hawaiian government. Tensions rise between the Hawaiian League and King Kalakaua. And in 1886, the Hawaiians wanted to renew the sugar deal that they had. But the Americans were like, yeah, like we'll renew it if you give us control over Pearl Harbor. You know, Pearl Harbor, nothing bad's gonna happen there in the future. No, but they wanted the King of Hawaii to give up Hawaiian land to these Americans. And then the king was like, I'm not giving up any Hawaiian land. And the Americans, who were not happy with this response, pulled a gun out and was like, you want to sign the treaty now? And the guy's like, what happens if I don't? And the Americans are like, you sign the treaty, you know, or we blow your brains out, basically. Not an exaggeration, that happened. So King Kalakaua decided to sign this petition that gave the United States Pearl Harbor, which is like a permanent American naval base. And then now this treaty that they signed also really made the Hawaiian government pretty much powerless. So this is a petition signed in 1887, and it is known as the Bayonet Constitution, because a bayonet is the knife that you put on the end of a gun, like he kind of had, like, I'll shoot you if you don't sign it, King Kalakaua. All right, so they do, like, things go kind of smoothly for the planners, but in 1890, the United States revokes that deal we talked about earlier where the sugar goes in tax-free, because they wanted to support producers that were part of the United States. So all these states were over here like, oh, we're making so much money, and like the sugar cane people in Hawaii were like, well, I guess like the only way to make money is to become a state. But I don't think these Hawaiian guys are gonna like it very much. The only thing standing in the way of Hawaii becoming a state and these sugarcane planters making just a ton of coin, just a ton of cheddar, I'm sorry, was this very peaceful tropical sovereign country. So unfortunately, Kalakaua dies in 1891, and his sister Liliuokalani became the Queen of Hawaii. She takes the crown and she's like, I'm gonna get rid of this bayonet constitution. And the people of Hawaii are like, yeah, woo, get rid of it. And the Americans are like, sure you are. And in 1893, she announces her plan to restore power to the Hawaiian monarchy. And the Hawaiian League is like, she gotta go. You got to go. Because I'm making dumb money over here, like I'm dumb rich. You know, the American League is kind of thinking, we've got to become a territory, so let's just overthrow her, Queen Lily. Golly. So in order to become a territory, John L. Stevens, who is the American minister to Hawaii, was like, oh yeah, I'm in, right? And without any authorization, he sends 4 quote-unquote boatloads of Marines to go ashore in Hawaii, and they surround like the palace with machine guns. Queen Liliuokalani was like, well, if I don't surrender, like I'm gonna be Swiss cheese, so I'm gonna surrender. So she surrenders under protest on January 17th, 1893. Americans are like, well, with that annoying, peaceful, sovereign country, you know, out of the way, we can finally group together and form a government. And I'm gonna go ahead and spoil that they didn't really have the best interest of the Hawaiians in mind. Sanford B. Doyle, oh my God. Sanford B. Dole, a sugar tycoon, guy made a bunch of money on sugar, became the new president, and John L. Stevens, who I spoke about earlier, recognized Hawaii is now the Republic of Hawaii, or Hawaii. So the Senate in America pushed forward a treaty to annex or invite Hawaii into the state. But the president at the time, who was Grover Cleveland, silly name, was like, ooh, you can't just like do that. You can't just like roll up to Hawaii with guns and then like take it. He starts an investigation. He ends up finding out the truth, but he doesn't want to side with the Americans because at that point they're war criminals. But he also doesn't want to side with the Hawaiians because that's just kind of like a soft move. So he just kind of doesn't do anything. Grover Cleveland's just like, nah. But once William McKinley gets elected, he's like, yup, Hawaii, let's make it happen. I'm all in. F those Hawaiian people and their queen. Only queen I got's money. Someone give me a coconut, someone give me a hula skirt, let's party. So Hawaii under McKinley becomes a territory in 1898, and eventually, further along down the road, becomes the 50th state in 1959. But don't worry, because I know what you're thinking, what the Americans did to the Hawaiians, that is just a G-dang shame. But in 1993, 100 years later, Congress apologized to Hawaii. But I mean, no one was really there to hear it. And the damage was completely done. So now Hawaii is a powerful military base. And it's a huge tourist attraction, makes tons of money. Most of the Hawaiian things we think about now, like hula skirts and tiki torches, all of that's kind of an Americanized idea, just to really bring in more tourists. So if you ever find yourself in Hawaii, just know that this once beautiful and peaceful country is now just full of hotels and Starbucks and fat old people on cruises. Come visit Hawaii. Thanks for watching. I'm Mr. Hamstead, and I hope that you learned something.